Hello. Welcome to the We in Wellness. Conversations and meditations with Dr. K. Hi, Sean. I can't see you yet, but
Hello,
welcome.
Kay.
Welcome
Happy
to.
Halloween. What was that? Oh man, I'm out of practice with that. Did you get scared like a tiny bit? Like a
I
little?
did. I did. I did not know what was going on. And unknowns give me fear.
Yes. My mission was accomplished.
Your ghoulish vibes.
I used to work at Halloween Horror Nights, and I'm out of practice. That's all I can say. I need to get better at scaring the poop out of people. It's art, it's an art form for sure.
It is. It is. I feel like there's fear is a really tricky emotion to convey.
Are we already transitioning into depth and deepness just now? You can do that magically. That was well done. Yeah, no, let me tell you, fear is a fun one. What I've learned about fear from doing that job alone actually
Yeah.
was really yeah, a lot of human nature up close studying of people's reactions to fear and how good they are at controlling it or not controlling it. Um, the times where they would try to act like they're not afraid, right? Until it's like overwhelming, and then you have to like they just like exploded with fear. The times where they try to transition, like avoid and deflect their fear onto someone else. Like, no, 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 hey, scare her. She's really scared. She's scared. But they're like, you hear that little tremor in their voice, maybe when they said that, and you're
Mm.
like, nah, you're actually scared too, bro. Right? Like, you kind of like really pinpoint a lot of fear and that emotion, and how fun it is too, because it is a fun emotion when you're aware of it and when everyone's there to embrace it, like, yeah,
Mhm.
if this was like at like a grocery store and I was no, that'd be terrible, but thankfully at an amusement park they want to be amused. Yeah.
Yes, yes. They paid for the fear. Interesting human
Yeah.
thing we do. Okay. Thank you
Ain't
for going deep with me before we even introduce.
no problem.
So Sean Hill of Let's Spin Reality. Uh, who are you?
How are
How
any
would
of
you
us?
like to be defined in the space of this podcast? Thanks for coming on.
Okay. Oh man. Wow. Yeah. I define as a HB, which is a human being. What?
Oh,
And no, I feel like if anything, I'd say professionally, actor, poet, and host. Yeah, I love to do writing workshops as well for people and for schools and for groups. And I've done one in somebody's living room before. Like I've done workshops everywhere. And gosh, there was even one outside on a school campus that was really fun too. That was really fun. Um, it was like an emergency quick workshop for a slam team. It was awesome. It was awesome.
oh, cool, cool, cool.
And then I'd say, yeah, I also would throw in humanitarian, I guess, because someone
Oh,
pointed that out to me that I did a lot of fundraisers or projects that I would lend my voice to or support or go volunteer at. They were like, "Wow, you're like a humanitarian or something, huh?" Or I was like, "Oh, I guess I am because I care about stuff, I guess, and people in the world and making sure we're okay. All right, I'll take that label. I will take that label." Um, and I'd say, yeah, I'm also, gosh, Afro-Colombian. Shout out to my parents who made me. Woo woo. And I'd say, yeah, first and foremost, though, yeah, I do connect with the term human. Whatever
oh,
this experience is, it's a crazy, beautiful one, and um, I've been doing this 42 years now being a human. That's my longest job ever, let me tell you. Oh, full time, 24 hours, nonstop, 365. It's crazy. It's crazy being a human. But I'd say, yeah, that's the main basic intro. Oh, and then I did a TED talk as well. People love to get impressed by that, and I need to say that more often to impress people to actually make sure they listen to me more.
Mm.
So,
Mm. I was gonna go down the human rabbit hole, but you've given
yeah,
me
yeah.
something else.
Feel free.
Why have you not been wanting to impress people?
Oh no, I I do want to impress people when it's appropriate to do so, I guess, or when it's like natural and organic.
Hmm.
Like, if I'm trying to like show my nephews a cool basketball shot, like, hey, check this out, what? That's definitely, easygoing stuff. But in like everyday life, yeah, I'm not trying to impress. Really, unless I'm trying to work with someone, maybe. Unless I'm trying to like, yo, Sterling K. Brown, what's up? Let me tell you what I did today. Hey. But even him, actually, when I finally met that brother, he was so not that kind of person either that would even work anything on. Like, he was really down to earth, really just wanted to talk about the craft of acting and stuff like that. It was beautiful. So that people like him really inspire me and remind me to not be so obsessed with trying to be important to people, but trying to actually receive people as important and treat people as important, you know?
Hmm. Okay. Um, all right. So how do we want to tie that in? Ooh, ooh. Since you're a host, I feel like this is gonna end up being okay. For everyone who's listening, I need you to know that Sean asks the best questions I have ever heard in my life, bar none.
True.
And I would not be surprised if any of them come up today, even though I'm asking questions today.
That's fair.
So I'm giving you license that I would not give to other guests in case you want to ask questions.
Well, I would love to ask the first question is what is your intention with this amazing podcast? And if you were to intro this podcast to a wide,
Hmm.
wide audience, how would you do it?
Hmm. Uh, my intention with this podcast is to share that community is the most protective thing for someone's health, be that physical or emotional. Um, Having community support, having people to go to, understanding that you're not alone, hearing a collection of voices where you may go, "Oh, I didn't know that, but I understand." They see me and they haven't even seen me because I'm just like this person. That is the intention. It's more of a feeling. As far as how would I intro this podcast to a wide group of people, I would say, "Hey, I'm having conversations about wellness and support, and they go in a lot of different directions. Maybe you'll like all of it. Maybe you'll like one episode. Tap in where you feel resonant."
I could dig it. I could dig it. Happen when you feel how you feel resonant. Yeah. And you'd have like 100 people at least looking up, like, what's the word resonant mean? What's that mean? Like, what? I think there's some high schoolers are like, hey, we just learned that word the other week. Yeah, it's a cool word. It's good. It means something good. Aw. Well, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to support this intention, of course, and I'm glad to be doing this kind of conversation with someone in my own community and who's absolutely helped me in life. So thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that's really sweet. Um, okay. So we've known each other for some time, but since I have moved away, there's been changes in your life. How have you been?
Oh my gosh. Uh
I
oh,
thought that was the simplest question, and this
yeah,
is the reaction. Yeah.
that was amazing. Um, I'd say I've had a year of beauty and sadness and surprise, and it's all thrown in with, and it's all thrown into, like, a big pot of, like, nonlinear joy. Um,
Mm,
that's kinda how it's been showing up, really. And, I'll start from now to the and then work backwards, actually.
yeah.
Uh, so I have a lady now of about 3 years, and she's amazing, phenomenal human being. And she she's, obsessed with working and being creative and making films and writing films, and I was not ready in my life to keep up with someone like this. She 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 makes a workaholic look like they ain't doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like oh my gosh. She wakes up with emails on her mind ready to send out. It's it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's also thankfully where I think a lot of partners might say, "Oh man, that's too much," or like, high maintenance maybe or high something, whatever. And like, and I started seeing it now as, oh no, I wanna be able to meet that. I wanna be able to like get to that standard and not have it feel like it's too much or something, and she's really increased my work ethic, my work focus, my follow-up routine of things, like, oh my gosh. Yeah, she's, like, really amazing at doing and going after things she wants in life, and I don't think I felt all the way, like, I never felt, I think, fully that way for a consistent amount of time. It goes in spurts. I'm a kinda artist that has that, you know, sometimes things have to compel me to write or perform, or someone comes to me for a great, show or pitch idea for a pilot or something, but then like I wanted to start making my own ideas, right? Making my own things that started to bubble up, and she was so supportive of that also. She's so great
Oh,
at that too. Like, "Oh, you have enough poems in here for another book. Like, are you going to write another book, Sean?" And I'm like, "Oh, I guess I should." I'm like, "Okay." Or or even with ideas for a TV show now that I had, like, to start writing those ideas out more, or like start putting out some monologues, or like something that just sparks.
yeah.
Um, it's been really nice to kind of feel that more around her, and she knew I would inspire that for her too. Like, I'm always pushing her to be creative too, and remind her of what she wants to finish too. But seeing her do it and seeing her like apply it is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal thing. Yeah. And and most recently she just won Best Play at the Brisk Festival, which is an international one-act play festival. Um, I forgot how many hundred. There's like at least a couple hundred plays that she actually was able to. I don't want to say beat out, but like, that hers stood the test of that entire festival, and it was beautiful, beautiful to see that her family was here. It was amazing. It was great. It was so great. Like, we celebrated good, and it felt good to see her finally feel good in doing the art that she loves, that sometimes she doesn't always feel validated in, you know?
Mm, wow. Yeah. There's a lot of
Yeah.
layers.
Oh my god, of
Um,
course.
yeah, I wanna talk about creative partnership.
Mm.
Because I think a lot of times when people hear that word, they think, "Oh, right, I met with someone and we will create a thing together." But it sounds like y'all are supporting each other in separate projects, but there's still a creative partnership happening.
Yes. Yeah, 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 and when you say separate projects, you just mean different projects that are hers or mine, you mean? Like,
Yeah,
ownership-wise?
or, like, I mean separate in the sense of, like, you sup like, how do I put this? Uh, when I hear creative partnership with someone outside the industry, I assume that it's, like, equal partner they're co-writing this, and then when they pitch it and they present it, it is both of their thing, and that is the creative partnership, whether
Mhm.
they're platonically partnered or also romantically partnered, like, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But when hearing you describe what your relationship is like, it seems like you're creatively partnered because 'cause you're both creatives.
Oh, yeah. Nailed it! Yeah, pretty much, and it's It was really nice in the beginning of our relationship too to see how that grew because sometimes it'd be like, "Oh, let me share a poem with her and see what her thoughts are and feedback are on it," or just randomly, right?
Mhm,
And she would give some good feedback or ask some really good questions, you know? And, and then there was times where I would ask her to help me with a self-tape, right, as an actor, and
mhm.
then I'm like, this is kinda rough right now. This is I don't think I wanna do this again with her." 'Cause she'll get into, like, directing mode where it's very, like she'll be very, like, clear on what she wants the scene to be or something, and I'm like, "Yo, let me try some stuff. Well, hold on, I wanna try a couple different things here, okay? A couple different takes," you know what I mean? And so she could be very, like, really, like, stubborn on getting her takes first that she wants, and we've had a great push and pull on that, great discussions about it, great, like, healing catharsis about it. And then at the same time, it was yeah, I still pulled out great work. She still would pull out the best in me, you know, and make me like still explore something I didn't think of before, which is always what you want a good director to do, of course, you know? Like, yeah, sure.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay. So I guess that's a tip for everybody out there. Be willing to explore your
Uh,
creative projects with your partner because I think a lot of people can be really protective of, well, this part of me is mine. Please don't come over here with feedback.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I'll say just to make sure that also that they know, any of y'all out there that are even thinking about sharing your creativity with someone else, make sure you got the boundaries though in place. Boundaries. Because there's like things about where credit is taken or on-screen credit, right? Or things that come up where you don't think about it
Mhm,
until later. Or you don't know what someone wants actually until later also. Or maybe things change for what people wanted creatively from a project, right? And thankfully, yeah, thankfully with yeah, I'd say with Christina, it's been more of like we both are pretty giving with that. We both want to give more. And like, oh, you want this credit and that credit, or you want this and that? Sure. And then not every couple is like that, or not every person is like that. Not everybody's mind operates that way. Um, and it can mean a lot of different things to different people's egos or different people's needs or even professional wants at the time. You know, professionally you could want something and that's okay too, of course.
mhm.
So yeah, the work boundaries and stuff, I make sure to tell her like, yo, after 10, 11, maybe, like, don't expect the greatest creativity from me and come to me with like, "Oh, I have this great idea about this and that." I'm about to knock out. Like, you know, catch me tomorrow to be excited about your idea right now, because you gotta be prepared to, like, be let down right now, because I'm like, "Yeah. No, yeah, man, that's a great idea. That's a great" and she'll be like, "What? Why are you excited about my idea?" I'm like, "Man, it's 2 AM. Like, what you want me to do?" You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I mean. She's so like when she gets an idea, like, man, she's so excited. And then at the
Yeah.
same time, I want to be supportive too. Like, make sure you share that creativity with someone that also that you know you can feel their enthusiasm about your ideas. Cause that's a dream killer for sure. If people aren't excited about your ideas and you're like married to them or you're dating them or whatever, and they're not like a little excited, even just a little. If they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. What's the point of this story that you're telling? Like, why are you doing it? Oh, it's like, oh, like, do you hate me? Is right, especially if we're sensitive artists. We're like, why do you, why do you want to kill my soul right now? Like, why are you responding to that? Right? It's like, and we'll get all exaggerated too, like that sometimes with each other. But anyway, yeah, that's definitely boundaries are helpful to know what you need to thrive as an artist when you share your creative ideas, and what you need as you know for your creative spirit to still blossom too. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. I feel like you're saying that boundaries and communication are super important.
Oh my god, yes. Yes, communication is part of boundaries. Boundaries are part of communication, right? All boundaries are not communication, but all communication has to be done with boundaries or something. I don't know. I'm just making up.
I can work with that,
Probably.
but
Yeah, it might work actually.
it might work, really. But yeah, I think communicating. in the way that you're talking about. The reason I bring that up with the boundaries is because if you're communicating well,
Right.
that's important. But if you think you set a boundary and you didn't communicate it clearly, and then you try to hold it later, and they're like, "You never told me that. What are you talking
Yes.
about?"
That part.
That
Yes.
part. Which is, a worst case scenario of what you just described. So I'm
100%.
glad that y'all communicate. Uh,
100%.
yeah,
Yes.
I want to ask you this. So you define as a human.
Why why is it that when you repeat it, it sounds like a joke now? That's why is that?
Well, I didn't mean, I promise I'm not trolling anybody by being like, how do you define, oh, you define as human? No, you genuinely are like, yeah, I'm a human being. This is what we're doing. Okay, define as human. I'm wondering how your relationship, maybe in the 3 years or maybe in the past year, helped you
Mm.
become a better human.
Oh my gosh. How long do we have here? Oh my goodness. Oh, this wonderful woman who is also changing right in front of me, and I'm trying to act focused, by the way. Mm,
Now I can hear her. Wait, we got to
very
run that
sweet.
back.
Hi. No, no, keep us going. We're good. We're open. We're open. We're open like that. It's fine. If anything, I'm respecting her boundaries right now, even. Uh, but not there. I'm like, but if anything, I'll say like I was saying before, she's inspired me in ways that I didn't know I could be inspired, right? There's thankfully I know what being inspired by someone feels like, right? First. But then also to have that be followed up with action and like that example I told you before about when she was looking through some of my poems. She was just curious, right? She's like, "Oh, what other kind of poems do you have?" Or like, "What you have? How many books do you have of poetry that you've written, right?" And stuff like that. And I pulled out my notebooks, like a big like briefcase, like box filled of notebooks, right? I knew at least I organized them there. It felt good to organize them in one place. And she started looking through them, and she was like, not only like, "Yeah, how are you going to do another book with these?" But she also was like, "You know what? I can help start transcribing them or something. You want me to start like putting them onto the computer or something?" Okay,
That's big.
Dr. Hub. Yo, like, my goodness.
Hmm.
That was like, she made me fall in love with her all over again when she does things like that. You know, when you put the action behind the thought or behind because I know some of us in relationship might hear someone say, like, "Oh, how come you haven't done a book with this yet?" And you could feel shame. You could feel a little like this weird self-guilt thing that they're not giving you. They're just genuinely asking like, "Oh, like, I'm surprised you haven't," right? They're saying like from a place of maybe surprise, you
Yeah.
know? And I'd say also Christina a little bit, she will say it with a little bit of angst, actually. Sometimes she'll be like, "You haven't got another book out yet?" Like, she'll say it like, "Yo, like, what are you doing?" Right? Kinda like I'm an idiot, but in a good way. Like I'm an idiot, but I don't have to be an idiot. Like I have the choice to not be an idiot and put out this great work into the world, right?
Yes.
Um, and then I feel like even if a partner says something to you in a way you don't like, I've worked thankfully so hard on this ability to still take the good from it, to still take the positive from what they're saying, because I've learned that not everyone's going to say everything in the way that I like it to be said, right? And it's kind of egotistical, right? If you think about it in the world like that, you're like, "Oh, I want everyone to talk to me the way I want to be talked to all the time." And also for them to not know that, how would they know that? Also, if they're your friends or your family, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I think there's a time where like we've had some great talks about what it looks like to show up for each other in creative projects or in motivation or accountability um or even being a bouncing board for ideas, right? It's not an easy job, but it's been worth it for me. It's been absolutely worth it to feel judged for a few seconds, then to be inspired, now to be inspired after that for the next month or two. You know what I mean? Like that's what she gives me. And that's what has like her just actually okay, let me break it down more. Her just waking up and then going straight to like her computer or straight to an email or excited to come up with another idea she's gonna write about, that alone is inspiring.
Mm.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That alone, it's witnessing that and just being like, wow, right? Like, okay, she's out the door now. And okay. And she's at her meeting now with her art director and and the camera op. Okay. Oh, oh wow, what am I doing today? Right? It's like, okay, dang. Like like she's a creative force in the world. And it's
Hmm.
I make sure to still to get caught up in that force a little bit in that upstream, right? And then at the same time, make sure I'm directing the leftover energy to whatever I want to focus on my projects too. And I think that's the only problem. That's not a problem at all. Is like balancing the support of each other's projects, which is a great problem to have. Great problem to have. I'm okay with that. We both know how to pull each other up in beautiful ways.
Wow. Um, that's so beautiful. So I have a lot of clients and potentially some listeners
All right, brag,
who
girl, but show off now. How many clients you got? What? You got 40,000 clients? 7,000,000?
I'm sure someone is now wondering, how are they friends? Their energy is so different.
No, we just balance. We
It's
balance.
balance. It's balance. No, okay. But so that was an intro to the question that I was about to ask, which is I because of the line of work that I'm in as a therapist, I run into a lot of women, more than men,
Mm,
who are like, men don't get it. Men don't do the work. Men don't know how to be in a relationship or communicate. And so I'm letting you tell all these stories because I'm like, wait a minute. This is what they need to hear. It
mm,
exists.
mm.
So thank you, Sean, from
You
everybody
yeah. Oh my gosh. You're
for
welcome.
being that guy, for being the
Yeah.
guy who shows up, looks at himself, does the work, checks in, balances, isn't overly undoing of yourself.
Mm.
Like, you're still holding you, but you're like, there's something to learn in this dynamic.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's a creative force that I will step up to. That's
Mm.
beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
And I do not hear that often.
Oh, I mean, there's more sides to that, but, like, there's just I mean, we could get really honest, I think and then
Yeah.
she'd be okay with that too, thankfully, because that's
Mhm.
something that we talk about even in public with our friendships and stuff like that, where there's so many there's so many relationships where the concept of being with a boss woman, right, or a boss partner, and what that means, and then the complaints I've heard about from other men is as how we feel disrespected or talked down to by those
Mm.
partners, right?
Mhm.
Which I understand now on a deeper level. Cause sometimes I'll be like, hey, yo, you telling me to, take this plate or whatever to the kitchen. I'm not I'm not like one of your actors right now, right? I'm not you ain't directing me right now. I need some please on that. I need some like, I need some please and thank yous right now, baby girl. And and she's open to that. She'll be open to that feedback, thankfully. She'll be like, oh my God, no, I'm sorry. I'm like doing three other things. I'm sorry. And I'm like, okay,
Mm.
all right, mwah, I love you. Okay, mwah, right. So at the same time, there is that double-edged sword of the strength. If strength is not tempered with grace, right? And if my own ego is not tempered with humility, right? Like then that kind of stuff oh my God, it would tear us apart for sure. For sure. And I could understand why so many women can feel that way about their partners if they're not doing that work and you don't see it. I don't know. There's a lot of women that maybe don't see the guy doing their work or see their partner doing the work. And then
Mhm.
at the same time, a lot of us we're just not doing the work and we don't want to admit it also. So there's that I've been there for sure. Where I'm not even admitting like, yo, yeah, I do need to think about this more, or I do need to make a better plan for my life, or I do need to strategize this and that better. Absolutely. And to admit that, oh my God, to admit that as a male to your partner, like I've cried tears you would not believe the size of. Okay, let me tell you, it was so like shameful sometimes in previous relationships to be able to admit stuff like that. But
Mm.
then thankfully I had good taste in partners where like they wouldn't treat me like garbage after I admit negative stuff, you know? And they were like, "Oh, okay, no, thank you for letting me know that, and like knowing where you're coming from now, and we could work with that. And do you need help planning this now, or do you want me to tell you someone who you know who can help you out with that?" And I was like, "Oh, sure, okay, yeah, okay, cool. Is there a trick to this? Is like you gonna pull like, are you gonna judge me after this or something? Like, you feel like a little bit like on edge for a little bit because you were just
Mhm.
vulnerable."
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of more growth can happen is because you're making me think about more things in this world right now
Mm.
that men versus women type of stuff that you see online a lot of, where it's really not like that in real life. You know, in real life, we're not actually trying to do that consciously, I think, but subconsciously maybe it's happening a lot because that stuff is like some whatever past trauma you would know better than me, like maybe some past stuff, right? How we're brought up.
Mhm.
But I think in an ideal world, no one wants to be versus anybody. In an ideal world, it's a lot easier to be for people and support each other, right? And create a community that really thrives on, if you don't know something, I'm not gonna judge you and own you, or like I'm gonna cook you in this debate or something. It's like, no, I actually really want to make sure you understand and we understand the same things and that we are on the same page in the same class of life and that we all want to graduate to the next class in life, and enjoy, learning more about each other in the world. It's like I'm that kind of beautiful, naive young man who thinks world peace is still possible. Yes. And I'm willing to put my action where my heart and my words are also to meet that and make that happen. So, um, yeah. Yeah, you just had me think of all that actually. That was great. That was great.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's tricky because I'm thinking through a lot as well. And I was in a conversation yesterday. Somebody asked me, is it possible to not have the same love languages, but then still be in relationship with someone? And
Mm.
immediately I was like, why do we even really care about love languages?
What?
I
What
mean,
do you mean?
well,
What
I
do you
mean, I
mean?
get it. I get it. Like, I feel like as a therapist, I'm not supposed to say that. But like,
Like dumb love languages? Why we
we still on this?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's I feel like what we have done as a society, I am including myself, um, and I feel like I could say globally, but I won't take it that quite that far because I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not in every culture. But there's this,
No, you're
uh,
right.
we'll get so focused on the detail of something that we're like, well, if this is misaligned, I gotta throw all of this away.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Do you know what
yeah.
I mean? And so it's
Mm.
like, well, if someone doesn't naturally have the same love language as you, but they love you big and they're trying to figure it out, I feel like that could work.
Mm.
And maybe there's some percentage of quota of other things that have to be compatible. Um, but like, because if everything is incompatible, it absolutely doesn't work. But like, I just, I don't know. I feel like we've been asking the wrong questions. So that's what I'm thinking of as we're discussing how
No,
it,
that was great. That was great.
yeah.
Can I ask you the maybe one of the right questions? I would ask, in terms of it could working, right? When you said it could work,
Mhm. Uh-huh.
what do you think is important for that adaptability to happen? Because if
Oh,
someone's loving you the way that you don't like to be loved, but they're doing it great, they're doing it honestly, they're loving the way, the best they know how, what to give you.
yeah.
How do you what would you recommend as an adaptation for that?
Yeah. I would recommend some honest communication and reflection in either safe community or like with a relationship coach.
Mm.
Um, in the sense of, in my perfect world, there are elders of relationship who know both parties or multiple parties if we're dealing with poly, who would be like, oh, you're hearing this, and they're trying to say this.
Mm.
And it's because your framework is over here. But y'all have the same vision, you have the same goal for what you want, and you have the same intentions, but there's
Yeah.
this stuff in the way. Let's let's talk about clearing some of that out. That's what I think could happen.
Interesting.
Um, but if you're in an early dating phase, a lot of people don't stick around long enough for any of that conversation.
Right, right.
And as far as what I see often is people immediately going, well, all men are like this, so this is why I can't stay. Or all women are like that, so this is why I'm so good at being single. Uh, and
Yeah.
I think that's a huge downfall that maybe started before podcast culture, maybe was elevated by it,
Mm.
you know?
Interesting. Yeah. No, I've been noticing that too, actually. Yeah. No, thank you
Mhm.
for that answer. Yeah, I think what I'm getting from that is the again, the ability to communicate about stuff like that with people that are more experienced at this kind of stuff helps. And I think at the same time, I'm seeing the angle come out of also being honest with yourself enough that if this person is loving you in a way that's driving you crazy and you've already tried to like learn to love this about them or you know like you try to embrace it in some way and it's not working, if you can't figure out why it's still not working, that'd be tough. That'd be tough to like
Sure,
navigate that for sure.
sure, it would,
Wow.
it would.
Hmm.
I didn't say it was easy,
Yeah, yeah.
but, and it also depends on, what's at stake if something is ending over that, and, there's lots of variables, so
So many variables.
so
Man, it's like math. It's like you're like a healer of math healer. What? That's crazy.
Ah,
You're like, yeah, the
I'll
square root
trust
of forgiveness, if it's not, compounded by compassion, then you need to like multiply the communication of understanding and then add like the square root of perspective. Yeah, that's crazy.
I actually feel like that would work for some people. I have some
That's my next poem then. That's my next spoken word poem right there. Thank you.
yeah, do it. Ooh, okay.
Oh,
So
wow, that
speaking
would
of
be fun. That would be fun,
it
actually.
would. It really would.
See, this is what you do. You
Um,
inspire me also as a friend. Thank you. Like, yeah, continuously, my friend.
Thank you. You mentioned that you might be writing another book. That means that you have a book.
And you're pointing that out because
I am
you
pointing that out because I would like to know more about a book you've written, and I really want to know what's coming.
Oh, okay. Well, I've noticed a lot of your communication, right now at this moment is, like, kind of this indirect passive thing going on.
Tell me about the book on your bookshelf, Sean. It's right there. I can see it.
Oh, man. Oh, and you know what? One more bonus note for working with
Mm,
someone creatively in relationship is also if they have a sense of humor, that helps. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, at times where we could just laugh at ourselves, it helps. It helps. So
perfect.
yes, so this is the first book that I published that
Mm,
two other friends of mine we combined our stories and poems into one book and it's called I Write Words and Voices and the it's basically the journey of what it means to be a poet, to be a writer,
mhm.
and all the layers we have to peel off of ourselves to even get to who we are. And after that section of the book, that's like the first section. And then the second section of the book are all our own individual mini chapbooks. So it's almost like getting four
Okay.
books in one. It's pretty amazing. And I
Wow.
think my favorite part of even designing my own little chapbook was putting my little logo guy here. Look at my little logo guy. Look at my little logo guy. Oh, yo, yo, boo, yo, yo, boo. Oh, yo, yo, boo, yo, boo, yo, boo.
Um,
So, did that get weird? That got weird a little bit.
it
That
got
got
weird
weird.
a little bit, only because there's people who listen and don't watch.
That's true. That's true. They don't know what's coming next. I love it.
No,
I love
no.
it.
But let's
Yeah.
just say the logo guy's fro matches the excellence of Sean's actual hair.
I appreciate that. It's essentially, yeah, for those of you listening, it's like the smiley face, the happy smiley face logo, but like brown and with an afro. It's fun. It was fun coming up with that. But yeah, no, this next book, I think the more I talk about it, the more it's gonna force me to really get into it actually and really, like, crank it
Mhm.
out.
You're on
And
record now, so yeah.
yeah, no, it helps. I want people to bug me about this next book. Like, if you really want a book from me, please bug me because I'm probably not gonna make it unless people bug me for it. I'm not like, I've noticed that. Like, if I
Hmm.
think the world is doing alright without me, then I'm not gonna do as much. Like, I can go to an island and retire, like, I'd be good, you know what I mean? I'd be okay. But when I feel like the world is still having, the kinda suffering that could be prevented, then it makes me wanna step up more, it makes me wanna write more, it makes me wanna share more, it makes me wanna just, heal and help and be there for people more. It makes me wanna, take in what other people's pains are more and reflect that back in the poetry also, um, a lot of great writers from, Alice Walker to Toni Morrison would always say that, like, we're mirrors to the world as artists, and at the same time that we're mirroring, we're also reflecting the way out, the way out of our suffering and the way to a better world, you know? So so I realized, like, I'm the consistency of my art has been mainly dictated by how often people would ask me to even do something or participate in a project or, you know, be commissioned to write about some topic that was important at the time, you know? Even, for example, I'll give an example, I think that'll help too.
Mhm.
Um, when I was asked to write about, Vanessa Guillen, who was, yeah, and again, sorry for the, any kind of trigger warning about sexual assault for sure. It was, this woman soldier that was sexually assaulted at a fort in, I believe it was somewhere in Texas, I believe, and Fort Hood, I believe, and, a few of my friends that were doing a fundraiser and making support to get a bill passed to protect, soldiers that report sexual assault on bases, on military bases, they asked me to write a poem about this woman, about this story, and man, like, once I dove into it, yeah, it was like, how could I not write it? How could I not care about this? And how often it was happening, and she was just one person that thankfully the family didn't stop fighting for her and fighting to know what happened to her. And and it was really inspiring to feel that, to meet her sister,
Hmm.
and and even during that broadcast, during that it was this was around COVID too, and during that broadcast, man, I think one of the hardest moments after doing the poem was not just it wasn't just calling out, like, the military corruption and stuff like that. Like, that stuff can be easy because I'm calling people out to call them in and be better, you know? I'm not calling people out to,
Okay.
like, judge them. But it's more about the part where her sister got so inspired by the poem that she ended up writing a poem, and we ended the whole broadcast, we ended the fundraiser with her sister's poem, and it was so beautiful, and it was, like, surprisingly, like, gut-wrenching. Um, and then it reminds me, like, "Okay, that's right, I gotta keep doing this more. I gotta keep doing this more," For moments like that to happen where people find they just gravitated to writing a poem about your sister that's no longer here on this earth, that was taken from you in such a corrupt, foul way, and you found some partial release or expression or happiness or some kind of way of justifying the honor that you feel about your sister in this poem that you just wrote, like, I can, the moments like that, I can die happy. You know what I mean? Like, I know to add to the world more than I take from it, and that was a huge addition and take for me because it felt like that poem was so hard to write, but the to see her sister really, like, feel good sharing that poem, and she was still messed up, about the whole thing, but you could see that it did something good for her, you know? So So stories like that, and whether it's about the ICE detention, and there was ICE detention centers that were being just jam packed with people years back, and for that to happen again now, I was also asked to write a poem about ICE,
Mm,
and oh my gosh, learning more about that, I have to research so much more about each poem I get commissioned to write that it by default makes me a better person, and it by default makes me more informed. And then it by default also, I think, makes me care more outside of my own bubble of family and community, right? It broadens my community.
mhm.
It broadens what I thought was even my community, you know? So, um, yeah, long story long, I guess it comes back to this feeling of sometimes forgetting how important it is for me to write and share these poems, and at the same time, um I'm still trying to fight myself to be inspired before, and not to inspired, but be motivated to write before I need to write, to be, yeah, to be motivated before like something awful happens again. I want to work better on putting out poems that prevent the kind of tragedies that are happening in the world right now, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you have the theme of your book.
Oh, yeah, it's all about world peace and inner peace, yeah. I mean, those are always my themes, by the way. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, like, yeah, my themes are always about upliftment and connecting with yourself and connecting with the world in a way that you'd be surprised to find out exists, to really unify people in a universal way, to show the common threads in all of us, right? Um, to kinda make it so that every person you see, that you every time you walk out into the world, that you don't see a stranger, but you see just another reflection of yourself, right? Or a reflection of whatever your faith is. Even if everyone's God's children, right, then we should all be treating each other amazingly. We should all be like, wow, right? Like like holy like like world peace should already be happening if we were living according to our faiths, right? But
Yes.
that is the dilemma with the us as human beings, and this whole thing about not being perfect. It's
Mm,
never been about not being perfect, in my opinion. It's about how hard are we trying to do better and treat each other better and learn how to be better, right? It's I feel like it's so simple, and it's not as complicated as we need it to be,
yeah.
as we make it.
Yes, we make it to be. Absolutely. There's there's a lot of concepts going on. You got the wheels in my brain turning.
Take your time. That's what we're here
Okay,
for. That's what we're here for.
this is what we're here for. So I'm hearing when you first started into this whole concept, I was a little worried. I was like, oh, this lack of primary motivation like eats at you. I can see it, I can feel it. But because of that, you tell us all about this poem that you wrote for this woman and her family and this mission and all of it. Beautiful, by the way. Thank you. Um, but I wonder if being called in to create something from such a deep place is part of your process that doesn't need to change. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I am, I'll just ask, would the poems be different if, uh, if you just, like your partner, woke up and started writing in the morning?
No, no, absolutely not. I feel like whenever I approach a poem, I do my due diligence. Like I'll always take the time to connect with it in a meaningful way, or find the root of compassion in it, or get to the raw place of humanity with it, whether it's ugly or beautiful. Like to really dig into that.
So so you're
Yeah.
saying you've done it both ways, where
hmm
you're like, "I'm gonna write something because I should write," and then you are able to dig into that place, or sometimes you start with the feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
Both.
That's what I'm saying. I wanna lean and shift more into just being able to wake up and keep doing it for as long as I want to, or I even thought about doing like a poem a day for world peace, or
Mhm.
certain ideas like that where um I contacted the like some world hunger organization and seeing if I can like sponsor meals for people, but then also maybe attach a poem with every time I um I ask for donations to raise money for them. Maybe I'll write a poem about a different country or a different city in the world that needs the food right now, or needs, that's dealing with famine or something, right? So it's one of those things where I'm trying to always match up my art with the cause and make it more accessible to people, because a lot of the time it's people want to care, but
Mhm.
with the arts, it helps us find a way to channel what we're the bigness of a situation to actual clear action, or to actual clearer compassion. So, like they said that thing about if you say a million people are dying right now, sometimes it's easier to focus on just one person that's dying and what their name is and where they are right now and what they look like and why are they feeling that way and why are they going through that, right?
Mhm.
Um so it's almost kind of like that. It's like distilling the the compassion that we all have, but really trying to pull it out of people in a way that whether they want it or not, even sometimes it's like, y'all, like we ain't caring enough maybe about things in the world, right? Like let's care
Mhm.
more. You have the capacity, you can do it. I used to think I couldn't care about too many things in the world before too. So
Yeah.
I could relate to that where I just got to spend my time better actually. Or, each week I'll focus on a different cause for a bit, or even caring about um different, volunteer groups are focusing on one for 1 month and then another one for another month. There's so many amazing ways we can care about the world that don't have to feel like we're never doing enough. Uh, I'll even tell you one more story that makes that crystal clear
Okay.
is that, oh man, this was amazing to hear that. You know those kind of donations you make to a TV program and they say, "We'll feed a family, for Christmas this year," right? And some people donate, some people won't, some people think it's gonna be taken, whatever. Or it's a scam, right?
Hmm.
But the beautiful part is that when times were rough, Christina's own family was someone that benefited from a program like that, and they
Hmm.
were able to get food and some money for a really tough Christmas season, and that they really actually used that really happened.
Mhm.
Um, and to think about the organizations that are doing that work around the clock, and a lot of the nonprofits I've been really fortunate to work with and see them firsthand or volunteer with them or do a poem at their fundraiser. It's been really special to see the footage of them doing the work they say they're doing and to believe it more. And I think also what I hear a lot of people say is like they don't think a lot of good things are happening in the world because they don't see it, because they're not seeing the actual good in the world. Whether that's by, self-fulfilling prophecy and you're not choosing to look for good things, or when you do see a good thing, maybe you're skeptical of it, right? Or whatever the reason may be. There's so much good in the world that if you don't see it, my best advice is to go give it, to go give that good in the world. If you're not seeing it around you in your neighborhood, like why not create, you know, um, oh my God, like this, like the Quartz Hill food pantry up in where is that? In Lancaster. These group of amazing kids were like, we want to help homelessness and the poverty out here, and the best way they could do that was making a food pantry and giving free food to people, and making even a small, like, big cabinet dresser thing, like, that fits inside of a
Mhm.
garage.
Yep.
This, like it was, like, maybe 7 feet by 4 feet, and it's full of food for people where they can come by anytime and get some food.
Wow.
And I went there, I supported them, right?
Mhm.
And literally by the end of the event, one person came by actually during that small section of time. One person came by, was like, "Oh, do you have any more food items here today?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, we got you right here. Got some canned food. They took some fruits and veggies." It was so like you just oh, it's like oh, like that's why I think it's easy for me to believe in world peace, because I'm seeing people put the peace into the world. I'm seeing us actually get together, create community, you know, and actually, inspire more people to care about health and wellness, right? To get more people activated in life and not be passive about it. I think that's a big concept of what art does for me too, also. It's to activate us.
Hmm. Oh, yes, you're an artivist.
Oh, see another label, like, but some people are gonna think that's corny. I'm like, dang it. Oh, like, yeah, it's so
No,
funny how that
no,
works.
it's good. It just popped back in my mind. We're all good.
Yeah, but even then though, activist is such a big like label. Like even that, I'm like, people, oh man, people will like get on you about if you're an activist. They'll like start attacking you. It's crazy.
True. I did not say activist.
Yeah, but it had ibist in it.
It did. Artivist. I was rewriting the label
I hear you. I hear you. I'll take
using my words.
artivist. I'll take artivist for sure.
Okay, cool. Um, I need to ask you this
Uh,
because I see this all the time. Everyone is always in burnout
mm.
or they're in hyperfixation on news cycles.
Oof.
Right. And there's this like, people are struggling to find an in between. Are they supposed to be in between? And from what you just explained,
Uh-huh.
um, it seems that you found a way that's potentially more sustainable in being well aware of what is going on with the world and engaged, but not taken out by it.
Mm. Mm.
So, how do you do that?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. It's easier than you think. It's easier than you think. Um, you know what? Yeah, this is not the first time I've been asked that. So
Yeah, because Sean is like one of the most positive, high minded, high vibrational beings in my life and in potentially most people's lives who he knows. So, I get why you are asked this often.
I'd say, yeah, the first thing I always do is seek to understand, right? So if
Mm,
I hear a newscast or anything on the news, I'm like, okay, so how did this happen, right? Or like, why did it get here, right? I'll ask questions. I'm always asking questions. As an artist, one of the favorite best things you can do is ask questions, whether about a character you're studying, or about the situation you're in, the time period you're in, right? All these questions as artists, they really help inform our art. So once I start understanding that stuff, then I'll start then I'll try to find out why are people confused about this, right? I'll be like, why is there this seemed like a really clear cut kind of story now, right? And then I'll look up different articles, different videos of the same thing, right? I'm like, ooh, the wording on this was different. Oh, that headline says a whole different kind of thing. Oh my God, that's not even what I was thinking of when I first heard this story. Why is that the headline, right? Start looking at those things.
mm-hmm,
And then once I got into actually seeing the source video, let me tell you, because everyone in the news is reporting something that they saw or that they're witnessing, right? Or something that someone else did, right?
mm-hmm,
So once I started watching and, gosh, man, it was a trip to see to make sure, for example, with whether again, this is for all people, right? Left or right, however you define yourself, identity politics stuff, that's cool. I love y'all regardless. Um, I've had amazing conversations with everybody on every side of everything. Okay. And I'd say in the Israel Gaza conversations as well as any kind of Trump conversations, it's one of those things where I kind of reassure people that like, hey, we can talk about this and I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to attack you, right? I'm going to respect you as a human being and we're going to get through this together. Like it's going to be okay, you know? And thankfully, when you start with that, it goes great. Like the conversations go great. I was still surprised a few times though when it got really dark though. And one friend, for example, was kind of like, well, after hours of conversation about me caring about innocent children in Gaza, right? He kind of just resorted to, well, sometimes a lot of innocent people have to die to get the bad guy. That's basically, I'm distilling a lot of what he said into that. That's kind of what we ended on. And not that that represents everyone that believes that
No.
that way,
Mhm.
right? It's one of those things where I knew my point. I knew if that was his anchor of thought and belief, and I already tried to move it or show different perspective or, respectfully ask him about why he believes that's okay, um, then I've respected his answer and then I accepted it. That's the other part to it is acceptance.
Mm.
I think we're still working on how to accept each other and accept the ideas that are being spread right now that we like or don't like. First, we have to actually accept that they're happening, that they're like, people really believe this stuff, or people really believe that thing, right? Um, and I think that's kind of been the interesting part. I think that's the one part I'll have a tough time with sometimes,
Mm.
where I'm like, yo, Trump just talked to the UN, right? And said some things that objectively I think we as citizens of this country could agree on weren't like good things to say. For like some things were like he nailed a few things. That was great to say. That was very like honorable, saying like very basic like honorable things that he thanked the UN for. In previous even speeches, he did an amazing job one time actually, for portions of his
Okay.
speech. And then there's other times where I think objectively we could agree like, well, when he's talking about the Tylenol thing, and he said something about, it good can no good can it good can do better. He said the sentence in a very weird way where like, can we all agree that like this is this is kind of a way that a world leader that knows things, that would prepare for things, like that we could all feel a little like, oh, a little disappointment?
Mm.
Can we all just collectively feel disappointed about how
Yes.
our world leader might be representing us? And again, not judging. Yo, whether you pick Biden, like Kamala, right? Whoever, I've been disappointed by every politician, okay? And I've been honest about it. And
Mhm.
I think that's the last part I'll say, is to be honest about it. So in arguments I've had with people where they would bring up like, well, Obama did this, right?
Right.
And I'm like, okay, yes, I didn't like that he, was okay with innocent killing of people with drone strikes in Yemen. Definitely didn't want that. Absolutely not forgetting. I'm not forgiving that for sure.
Mhm.
And at the same time, I've seen them open up after that, and they're like, you okay, you agree with me about something I don't like about the person that I even assume you like, but I don't even know that you actually like or not. Right? All these assumptions we have about each other is I think the block. That's the biggest block, is that we're assuming, for example, if someone's black, that they love Black Lives Matter, right? Or we're assuming that if you're a Christian, then you sided with Charlie Kirk on all the issues, and rest in peace.
Mhm.
And at the
Mhm.
same time, we'll assume that maybe a lot of Republicans are racist, or we assume liberals are elitist and talk down to people. But there's a lot of assumptions on every side of everything. And I think my favorite part of really understanding this world better has been, I stopped assuming who I'm talking to. I stopped assuming about them.
Hmm.
I'm like, "Oh, okay, so on this kind of stuff, what do you think?" Or, "Okay, when Trump says that, what do you think of that? Does that make sense? Or do you like that thing?" And they'll ask me the same thing. They're like, "Well, do you like that when this that way or that?" And I'm like, "No, actually, I didn't. I've regretted and reluctantly voted Democrat a number of times. Like, oh my god, like." And they'll be like,
Mm.
"Oh, I'm surprised to hear you say that." Like, yeah, and it's a great like discovery of the actual person right in front of you that you're talking to, and not this thing we imagined other people to be. Like that's been amazing to see that come alive, and I'm talking about it with one friend right now with women where he assumes all women are this one way, and
Oh,
it's so painful to hear it. It's so painful to hear it.
yeah.
But I don't just say that to him, "Hey, you're wrong for thinking that way, it's painful." That's right? That's not helping him
Right, that
grow
won't change you.
or yeah, and I love what y'all said in the other conversation on your other podcast where you said, that brother was like, "I believe when you say friendship, it's about being committed to someone's spiritual growth."
Mhm,
I
mhm.
was like, "Yeah, I'm down for that." Like that as human beings, that's what I'd like to do. Like if I'm not down for everyone's spiritual growth and it doesn't mean forcing it though, right?
Right,
I think that's
'cause
the
it's
other
the
part of it,
choice.
right? We think we should be forcing it. So I think that's the other part is not forcing it, but having an open conversation about it if the other person even wants to. Like that's the other part. Like, hey, what time is good for you if you want to talk about this? I hope you're having a good one. And we're talking about like, um, maybe, gosh, yeah, maybe, yeah, whether or not something is a genocide. I'm like, hey, I hope you have a good one. Like, let me know if today, tomorrow works for you. And people respond really. They'll be like, oh, thank you for being nice about that, asking
Mm,
me that on the IG, right? They'll be like, thanks for respecting me. Because a lot of people are calling me this because I don't think it's a genocide, or they're calling me this because I do think it's a genocide, right? It's like, yo, it's like either
mhm.
way, people are being name called, and I'm bringing it back to like I wanna call you by even a higher name. Like I want, you know what I mean? Like I want to respect people so much that a conversation would be the easiest thing we could have.
Huh.
Wow, yeah, I didn't know I believed that either. That was really
Huh. I guess because I had assumed, which is what I was not supposed to do,
ah, ah, ah.
that your answer would have been placed in this, like, "Oh, I do get activated sometimes, and then I need to go meditate. I gotta go run. This is what I do to, like, re-regulate because I gotta go clear this off to come back."
Mm,
And the answer that was and is true is that you step into it being present with what is, as opposed to because overwhelm and anxiety does come from a place of, "I'm expecting the worst, this is gonna be difficult." And
right,
then and
right.
then you have this confirmation bias because, yes, it is triggering when someone says something racist or completely against your views of what you believe about humanity or, you know, um, and you're stepping into it from this, like, blank slate. A human is a human. I will find a commonality. It is not my job to change anything about them.
Mm.
But it is my job to wanna connect, and you do it, and it seems like it would feel enriching as opposed to toxic.
Yes, I love how like you're saying that as a question.
Yeah, I'm like,
That was great.
"Huh,
Yeah,
who
no,
knew?"
my top 3 success stories, right?
Mhm.
And like not changing someone, right? Like you said,
Yeah.
but in providing the space and influence and structure of question asking enough to actually have real change happen. So one friend
Mm,
of mine during the Black Lives Matter protest during the murder of George Floyd, there
mhm,
was a friend of mine that kept saying all lives matter kind of stuff, right? And they didn't know the root of where all lives matter came from. They didn't know
mhm,
why that became a thing, right? And after even explaining to like people that all lives matter came as a counter protest to something that was created originally to say that like black lives also matter, not like we're the only ones that matter for some, I don't know why, like who would have thought that? Like that's right. And obviously, right, it
mhm,
was started by a very negative-minded group of people that are trying to take control of the narrative, right, of what Black
mhm,
Lives Matter was doing. So the thing was, I was having a conversation online, and it was with another person where we were talking about that pastor that was saying it, in that way where he was like, when Jesus said, "Blessed are the poor or the meek" or something like that,
Yeah.
he wasn't saying like, "Not blessed are the rich" or "Not blessed are the other people" or "Not blessed are these people." And thankfully, this friend of mine, they were very Christian oriented, very like Jesus minded individuals,
Mhm.
and that clicked for them. When we talked about that person saying it that way, it
Mhm.
clicked for them, and they were like, "Oh my god!" Like they were like literally like, "I get it now. Like I get that. I don't need to say all I. That's not the right. Yeah, I. People told me that that's the right thing, and it wasn't the right thing, and it was like amazing to see them have that revelation. That was my one of my top favorite case stories of like someone really like changing their mind, and they
Mhm.
really had the space to do it, and it wasn't being forced on them. It was just a conversation happening, and they saw it, and it clicked. Right.
Mhm.
Another favorite story was, oh man, this friend of mine for years I've known. I was so surprised that they were thinking this way about racism that at a college that they were at,
Okay.
there was like a Asian only dorms or black only dorms or something like that.
Mhm.
And they were like they were like saying it in a way where it was surprising to me. I laughed not out of belittlement, right? I laughed because
Mhm.
it was such a shock to me of a surprise that he would think that way. And when I took the time to really listen to
Wait,
him, like,
what was he thinking?
he was thinking that it felt racist to be excluded. Oh, because he's a white person. I'm sorry. He
Yeah,
identified as
we need a
white.
little more context.
I
Okay.
apologize. I Without a poem, I am not the best storyteller. I need like I love poems. They help me tell stories a lot better. So so yeah, this amazing friend of mine, friends to this day, still a great guy.
Mm.
I need to call him, reach out to him and see how the family's doing. But he was like, yeah, I just felt a little weird about that. Like I was being discriminated on my race, you know? And I was like, "Oh, okay. No. I can understand why you feel that way. I understand why you feel that way." First, that was like I think one of the first things I said. And then I said, "Do you know why they had that policy there though? Or
Mm.
whatever the reason of
Mhm.
why they would create a dorm only for a certain group of people. Isn't that interesting, right?" And I
Yeah.
made him get curious about it. And he was like, "Well, no,
Mm.
of course I never thought about that. Like I just felt the way I felt about it." And yeah. And I was like, well, dude, if you look up the history of that college, I could safely assume that they had hate crimes there against those people so that they would feel comfortable with a majority group of their own, you know, race or culture or ethnicity. And even then, a lot of colleges now, a lot of people still think this false truth too, that a lot of colleges have like black only, but it's really maybe black centered or Asian centered dorms, or like
Mhm.
the majority maybe will be there that are of a culture, but that doesn't mean everyone only has to be there and you can't walk through the dorm or like you're gonna be or put in college prison, right? Never, nothing's like that. So thankfully a lot of those myths are being dispelled, but he never thought of that before.
Hmm.
And this is another grown man of my age that it took me 3 minutes, maybe 2 minutes to talk about that with him. And then he goes, "Oh my god, like, yeah, no, that okay." He goes, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh my gosh." And then next thing you know, he's like willing to go to a Black Lives Matter protest and actually like participate in that because he was so scared and awkward and weird about it at first. And we had to talk, and that one talk was like, okay, great. And then he had a great time at the protest, by the way. He was like, yeah, like it's not, again, it's not crazy violent people running amok. It's like really beautiful, peaceful, like chanting and melodies, right? Or
Yeah.
certain groups, maybe certain groups of people are doing their own thing, whatever, that are not part of that. So
Mhm.
it's one of those specific things that it's always interesting how the people that are being affected by corruption, or people that are actually the victims of certain things, are sometimes that you know, those powers that be that are able to switch that and make it seem like the victims are actually the perpetrators. Is It's that part is always the most dynamic, and it's sometimes a fun challenge to figure
Mm.
out how to make that work and make that be seen in a poem or in a film and actually show that to people. But it works. It's possible. And it's been great to see that kind of change happen in just in friends of mine, in literal friends of mine that just from conversation alone, being chill about it and not no name calling was had. You know what I mean? He didn't call me a leftist. I didn't call him, a racist or anything, like nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and
No
and
labels. I
last,
got it. No
you
labels.
know, and last thing I'll say is that I don't know how often calling someone a racist really helps them change their mind, by the way. So I think a lot of our approaches also when we're mad, like you said, like to cool off first, emotionally regulate, really
Mhm.
helps. And thankfully I have a lot of experience in talking with people that are racist. So that helps too. And it's something that I think was triggering at first for me for sure. But once I realized like it didn't have power over me unless I believed what they were saying, right? Unless
Mm.
I was like, "Oh, I am a lesser person now than you because you're sharing these ideas with." That would be right. That would be tough. But I think there's a certain sense of self esteem, of patience, high levels of compassion, and then also mixed with like a healthy dialogue structure. If we're gonna have conversations like this with people and make those bridges again and stop burning bridges and stop unfriending people, right, and stop doing that kind of work, uh, that
Mhm.
kind of um that kind of actions, I mean, those kind of actions, I feel like the work is in learning how to build a bridge better, learning how to communicate more effectively, learning the things that trigger us in a conversation or a debate, um, learning how to even give a question, take a question, right? Back and forth, maybe. Like there's so many ways to have constructive dialogue in an easy way that the everyday person doesn't know. I've even had a thing one time where I could talk for 2 minutes and then they had to listen for those 2 minutes and then
Oh,
I could
yeah.
talk, like
Mhm.
even time things like that. Those are
Mhm.
so helpful. And they help you really practice self control and emotional self-regulation also because you really like but I just but then you're so wrong about no okay I can't oh my god it's such a
Mhm.
good practice, it's really good practice,
Mhm.
and then you'll see how rude you are actually. You'll test out how rude of a person you really are if you keep
Yes.
interrupting someone that you disagree with, that like right, because if we're the one that disagrees with someone else, we'd want to be able to talk to someone else and not be interrupted, right? So that's the beautiful reflection and dynamic of seeing everyone in this highest respect kind of way, you know? Yeah, it helps.
Mm. Wow. Wow. Okay. You've
But I
been over
should
here dropping gems, but I still have to ask this question.
yeah, of course, of course. I just feel like we solved world peace again. That was great.
I know. Well, there's gonna be a two-part of this question. One, I will start with by saying, would you grace us with a poem? I'm gonna make it a bonus episode of just you doing the poem.
Alright.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. To be filmed shortly.
Right?
Uh, also, if you could, we've been having this beautiful conversation that has included conversation around nonviolent communication,
Mhm.
um,
Preach.
being the peace when you can't find it in the world,
Mm.
um, being in a creative partnership, and communicating with healthy boundaries.
Come on now. Come on now. Can they hear you in the back? Can they hear you in the back?
I mean, they heard you. Uh, if you could offer advice from any of those contexts or from anything that you would have brought up but didn't yet, what would it be?
It's better to light a candle than to curse the dark. If we can love people more than we love being right, and the joy and relief that comes from resolving a conflict and finding out you have more in common with someone than you have differences. I'd say those 3 things are pretty magical. They're pretty magical things that have added so much to my life, and I hope they add so much to everyone's life that's listening to this, and that people share it, that people really talk about these ideas that can make a more compassionate world, that can make the kind of world we all wanna live in, and to remember not to assume that you know someone before you ever met them. We've seen I'll be serious for a moment too because I've seen
Mm.
those certain tragedies of Jewish people getting killed and of a Muslim boy getting killed in America, right? Of people in
Right.
America that are affected by stories outside of America. We know we're not isolated. We know we're not, just experiencing this life in this bubble. It's not, it's that's never been the case. We know on some
Mhm.
deeper level that everything outside in the world can affect us. So by default, I think that means that we can directly affect the world. That directly means that if we are able to be influenced so much by what's happening in the world, that means our influence on the world can be so amazing and so beautiful, and that so much needless pain doesn't have to happen. That's so many times where I forget the sincerity of life. And when my dad passed this year, um, it was a very big wake up. It was a very big reminder of how much I want to choose to live my life with more meaning and more focus and a better strategy. And this guy, and this guy was amazing at it. He worked
Mm.
with my dad worked with Los Angeles emergency response to child abuse, and it would make sense that all his kids now, love working with kids and love healing people and love counseling and love mentoring and love being there for people. Um, so I think there's a place to slow down sometimes, like you said before, where like to take a run, to take a walk, to meditate. I'll still do that. Not always to emotionally calm myself down, but to actually take in more of the stories of the world. And and sometimes I'm listening to issues happening right now in the world while I'm on a run or while I'm on that row machine or something. It's easier to process. Sometimes that action, being activated in life and using action in our lives and keeping movement, the wellness that comes from movement, I'm really appreciating now too. Because in grief, like I've not wanted to move a lot,
Mm.
and when I do move, I do feel better. Like my body feels better, my mind starts clearing up, and I think that's also part of kind of a world diagnosis as well. Like maybe we all need to move more. Maybe we all need to get out of our house more and go to a different city and see and meet more people. And I love to go to open mics anywhere I travel to. And this is one last thing I'll say that every time I go to an open mic in a different city, or one time I went in Canada, and you really feel connected to the stories that are being told in that city because now you're learning almost like directly from the people what's going on in this city and what's going on in their community. And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed learning more about us as a people and learning about us as human beings to find out how we're looking at the world, how we can look at it better, how we can look at ourselves better, how we can view inner peace as a thing that's possible, how we can view world peace as a thing that's possible. And not only if it's not possible, forget if it's possible or not. How can we make it happen? Why not? Right? What do we have to lose by trying to make world peace? What can possibly like get worse, right? Than what we have now, right? By
Mhm.
wanting more peace in the world. Like it's one of those things that I hope is so obvious to me, but if it's not obvious to you, then it's my job to make it obvious, and I'm happy to do that, you know? Um, yeah, like and I love every single person on this planet. I can honestly say that regardless of what their beliefs are, what their what they hate or don't hate, if they think I'm a communist, socialist, leftist, right? Or if they think I'm a naive hippie, like I was called on one one Jubilee video that I was on, people started calling me names too. It was I was like, dang, they're going in on this. Oh, that was kind of funny. I was like, oh, like it was really amazing. But at the same time, it was like, I get it. That's what we do as humans. We make fun of things we don't understand, right? We
Mhm.
insult people that we don't see like the importance of in them, and that means we're not really seeing the importance of in ourselves sometimes, right? So like it's something that thankfully, yeah, it's all part of the process. It's all part of this life. And I'm gonna keep giving faith to people that have a hard time believing in a better world. That's the goal
Mm.
for sure. So if you can pass it on to someone else, whoever's listening, then my gosh, you just made the world a better place.
Whew. Okay. Heavy hitters. I love you, Sean. You're amazing.
Love you back. Appreciate
Yeah.
you.
It's like I get to watch you transmute heavier feelings. I'm not going to call them good or bad. I'm not going to say negative or positive. We're just going to talk about their density.
Mm, mm.
Heavier feelings into this like effervescence, into the bubbles. Like you do it, you live it, you preach it in the way that you how to put it? You're not telling people to be different on a way that is confrontive, but you live it and it just happens around you
Yeah,
as you encourage. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes
it
sense to
totally made sense. You know what else makes sense? I had to do a reprise of a belated birthday poem to you that you already got before. From Brunswick to Antioch, Chicago to LA, you are my homeopathic sister from another mister. And I'm glad we can all come together to celebrate the healing, the comedy, and space you have continued to grace us all with. You have given us everything from silly memes and reels to healthy medicines for real. Awareness of things to be aware about, activism to take action on, and you happily even gave us what no one was asking. One Halloween dressed up as a Black Carol Baskin. And you nailed it. Yes, you did, like you do so often. But I know also how often you forget. So much that you do. So I had to do this poem to remind you how much you crush it, kill it, revive it, renew it, and revitalize it, heal it, and then empower it. You do it every day. I bet that's why it seems so easy to forget, whether in the small, considerate things you say, the deep, helpful questions you ask, the wonderful solutions you give with consent, the kind acts of service, whether dog sitting, cat sitting, house sitting, or friend sitting, and more. I still remember when you pointed out the difference to me between self care and self healing. And forever, my world has been better for it. Thank you for making all the difference add up and all of us to such a plus, brightening our days in whatever ways you can so that we all will illuminate the whole earth like you do. I'm happy we all know how powerful, sincere, awkward, and how vast and far reaching your special light glows. Happy freaking birthday, Kay! Ah! Hug, hug.
lots of
Ah!
hugs, lots of
You really, that was almost like a poop hug. That was great. Ooh.
so it's the hug where it catches your spine and straightens it a little, where you're like, I wasn't
It does. I
expecting
like
that
that
part. That
one.
was that hug.
Then my job is done again. My job is done. Seriously, no, you're missed out here. You're appreciated out here in LA. like you're thought of. I just want to make sure I say that too. Like the this whole we and wellness concept that you're coming out with is beautiful, and I'm glad to see you following through on your dreams too. Like you're good at the follow through. You're doing it, Proud of you.
Like, Sean is like impossible to like out pour into. Like, I'm like, let me give words of affirmation to Sean. And then I get a poem and I'm just like,
Girl, hey, girl, queen, you've done enough affirming today, okay? Has someone affirmed you? Have you feel affirmed enough?
yes,
Okay then. Okay.
yes,
Don't
yes,
you? Okay,
yes. It's
good,
been a
good.
good day of that. Hey, I'm
All
gonna
right.
pull one card though. I'm gonna pull one card just in
Oh yeah,
case.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's do it was really cool when you did that last time on the other podcast. It was so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is so different. It's so new. It's so new agey.
It's so new agey. Yes, you know me at all. Anyway, um, I am willing to see my sameness with others. This opens my awareness to oneness. Couldn't have made it up, ladies and gentlemen. Theys and thems. I'll take a picture and insert it. I am willing
That's
to
crazy.
see my sameness with others. This opens up my awareness to oneness.
Wow. I love it. I love it. I love that. I love it so much. Oh, I love it so good. Oh my god. Oh, I just passed the kidney stone. I didn't know I had. Oh god, it's so good. Wow. Whew. That was amazing. That was amazing. Yeah.
Good. Love you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any words of wellness you want to leave us with? Us also. Yeah.
Oh, you have done both of our parts on that.
All right. Okay.
Yes. Until next time, to you and to the audience.
Bye. Love y'all. Bye.